this is Angel. For those who do not know me, if you're just stumbling on this video, you're very welcome. I want us to talk about power in telling our story from the scar and not the wound. Again, let me repeat that: telling our story from the scar and not the wound. Because I have seen far too many people rushing to share their story from a place of the wound and not the scar, and that is just detrimental even to the people that you're sharing it to. Please give yourself the time that you need. When we have a wound, right, it is fresh, it is raw, sometimes it is even bleeding, it is painful, it hurts. At that point, right, I will encourage you, that is not the time to worry about telling your story. That is the time for you to acknowledge what is happening to your body. That is the time for you to acknowledge the wound that is there, right? And then take time to care for the wound appropriately and let it heal. When we let the wound heal, eventually we are left with the scar. When the scar is left, you turn to tell your story from a place of empowerment, of survival. But when you're sharing your story, from the place of a wound, you're bringing people into victimhood. So you're trying to let the wound define you rather than tell it from the scar. The scar does not define you. The scar is telling people where you're from, what you've been through, where you're going. It is not defining you. As a matter of fact, when you tell your story from the scar, you're telling it from a place of power, you see. So that is my encouragement to us today. How would you know if you're telling your story from the wound and not the scar? When it is the wound, as soon as you start talking about it, you get into, your feeling is like you're reliving the entire thing. The pain, the hurt, you can barely even go through it, I'm not saying that you should forget the wound, don't get me wrong. Sometimes things happen. We have wounds that we may not forget about the wound or forget how we got the wound in the first place. But when we let it actually heal and we start talking to people from the place of the scar, we are empowering them. We are motivating them. We are inspiring them, you see. And sometimes even when you share from the place of the scar, you might get moments where you can become teary. Sometimes saying these things, not reliving it, but talking about these things can get us a little bit emotional. But when you're talking from a place of complete or holistic healing, there is a different way. You can actually even talk about these things sometimes and laugh. It does not mean that you're minimizing the wound. It does not mean that you're minimizing the things or the pain or the hurt or the things that you went through. No. Just because people are able to talk about these things and laugh does not mean that it was not painful or they did not really go through a lot. It just means that they have taken this thing, right? They have taken this thing and they have taken the pain or whatever it was and turned it to something that will work for them, something that will empower them, something that will actually work for them and bring out the glow, the resilience that they have in them, and then work out for their good. It is a decision, right? So we decide to say, I'm not going to let this thing that happened to me define who I am. I am not going to let it determine my whole next move. I'm acknowledging the fact that it happened, and I'm acknowledging the things I went through, but I'm not going to let it define me. There is a life that continues after that, right? There's this tendency sometimes that people want to stay in that one, like you just want to be there. Why? Maybe because of self-pity. Because sometimes when you share that story and people are like, oh wow, I'm so sorry this happened, or you have people around you, or people who just know you because of that story, you just become so used to the story, the wound, to a point where you don't want to get out of it. So your entire life is centered on it. You just want to talk about it all the time. It now becomes like there is the self-pity that you feel, and you're just enjoying it and you just want to stay there. Today I'm here to encourage you. Oh no, you don't have to stay there. And if you move on and keep living, it does not mean that you have forgotten about what happened. It does not mean that the things that happened was not important. It does not mean that it did not hurt. It simply means that you have decided to use these things to empower yourself, to heal. You have decided to use this thing to impact life, to change others. You have decided to use this thing to you have turned it to a testimony. It has become a strength, it has become a stepping stone for you. You have decided to you have refused to be defined by these things, you see. So you're now using it. You're coming from a place of power. You're using these things and you're making it work out for your good. As a matter of fact, you're letting God use these things, work out things for your good, you see. So that is my encouragement for us today. If you're still in the healing phase, please don't hurry, don't rush into telling the story or trying to, make sure you overcome it first before you start trying to help other people. We make a mistake of, you have people who are still struggling with one or two things, and then they are out there trying to help people, trying to coach people. No, that is a mistake. You eventually get hurt along the way. Do not rush to coach people. Do not rush to try to drag people or try to encourage people when your wound is still healing. Let it heal. Give it time. Let it heal. When you're completely healed and you have the scar, it hits differently. You're actually at that point able to empower people. When you continue to tell your story from the place of the wound, it's a matter of time, just a matter of time, and then things will go south. Give yourself that time that you need and heal up. And when you're completely healed, you can now share the story from a place of power, from a place of empowerment, from a place of understanding. Please give yourself time. I'm saying that because as a mental health provider, you have a lot of people who come in sometimes and they are back to square one. Why? Because they were so quick, they started seeing the light, so they just rushed and they were very quick to coach or to start telling their story or to start, trying to use whatever they are going through. No, you don't want to. Never share anything that you have not overcome. That's what I'm trying to say. Take your time, overcome the thing, completely heal from it, and then you'll be able to actually help people. When you dig this thing, if you're scratching on that scar and there's still blood coming out or you're seeing the wound, it means you're not really healed. You probably you've started to heal, but you've not healed. So give it some time. Give it some time so you're not easily triggered. Heal. Because when you don't, it begins to affect your relationship, affect those around you. The result is just a lot of chaos. So please give yourself the time that you need to heal, so that you will be able to share your story from your scar and not your wound. And God bless you. I'm looking forward to see you on the next video. Do not forget to subscribe, do not forget to like, and do not forget to hit the notification button so that you don't miss any episodes from this channel. Again, thank you and God bless you.